BGI TV Current. It's another beautiful day in the month of June, 7th day in the month of June per se. And according to the Gregorian calendar, we all know that yes, we are on the 6th month in the year of 12 good months, and I'm praying to God Almighty to make sure that all of the things we are doing and we shall be doing again should always attract His mercies and goodness always in our lifetime. Beautiful morning here in the city of Abeokuta, capital city of Ogun State. It's your darling program, which we know as a newspaper headline today from BGI TV Current. Alongside me is my fellow colleague. We always do it together. And my own name is Morire Prebila Lawal.
And my name is Ige Olalekon. It's a pleasure once again. I say good morning to everyone out there.
My own papers usually is the Vanguard and the Punch newspaper, and from me, the first rider I'm taking, we were expecting a nationwide strike from NLC and TUC, but it's coming and it's written with a big letter why we suspended planned nationwide strike, NLC, TUC.
And from me, I have the Nigerian Tribune, the Nation newspaper, and the leadership. Peter Obi faults Tinubu's subsidy remover. Give reasons.
The next one is coming from the World Bank. Nigeria's economic growth too slow to reduce poverty.
And from the Nation, House Direct Aviation Ministry to suspend Nigerian Air.
And going on to the Punch newspaper this morning, and the first rider is coming as expected. Reps demand NNPCL audit over unaccounted 2 trillion naira assets.
And from the leadership, NNPC to discontinue crude swap, target cash payment for petrol imports.
As regards the controversy on the Nigeria Air, it's coming here. We chartered the plane from Ethiopia. Nigeria Air MD breaks silence.
And from the Nation, Tinubu in crucial talks over Senate President, Speaker.
These are the stories we shall be talking about because we have so many riders, but in as much as the newspapers we've brought to you is having the riders we just mentioned, there are so many interesting ones which I will urge you all to have interest in picking one or two. Another one again is saying Nigeria Air not fraud, Buhari's ex-aide, Ahmed insists. But the first story we are to talk about is coming from the NNPCL as regards the fuel hike going on rocking the nation at the exorbitant price. The House of Representatives has called for a forensic audit of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to determine its assets and liabilities as well as its current market value. According to this House, the audit has become necessary due to the metamorphosis of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation into a limited liability company. The House ad hoc committee on NNPCL's assets and liabilities in its report, which was presented to the legislature on Tuesday, claimed that its findings showed that assets worth 64 billion US dollar, about 28 trillion naira, was unveiled by former President Buhari, but during the transfer, only 58.8 billion US dollar, 26 trillion naira at the official rate of 450 naira to $1 was transferred, leaving the balance of 2 trillion unaccounted for. The rider said, subsidy reps demand NNPCL audit over unaccounted 2 trillion naira assets.
And from the Nation newspaper, House Direct Aviation Ministry to suspend Nigerian Air. The House of Representatives Committee on Aviation has directed the Federal Ministry of Aviation and its partners in the Nigerian Air Project to immediately suspend flight operation and every other action with respect to the airlines. The resolution came during an investigative hearing on the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry and other stakeholders appeared before the committee. In a resolution of the committee read by the chairman, Nnamoli Nnaji, the committee said the process was shrouded in secrecy. The committee urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to constitute a high-level presidential committee to undertake a holistic review of the process of the whole Nigerian Air Project and advise the government on the way forward. And to the rider, House direct Aviation Ministry to suspend Nigerian Air.
Dayo Olumide, the acting managing director of Nigeria Air, has disclosed that the airplane that landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on May 26, 2023, was a chartered one from Ethiopia. Recall a few weeks ago, an aircraft bearing the logo of Nigeria Air was sighted in Abuja. Speaking before the Senate Committee on Aviation on Tuesday, Olumide said the plane was chartered from Ethiopian Airlines to launch the country's official airline. The Nigeria Air MD added that his mandate is to secure an operating license for the airline that is still in its early stages. This is so shambolic and a slap to the nation as a whole. It is fraudulent, all of them, and even the Buhari himself and the Minister for Aviation, who is Adi Sirika. How could you speak out by saying you only did your responsibility just for you to have an operating license for the airline that belongs to another country? It is unhearable, and this is someone's father.
It's quite unfortunate. It's a disgrace on the biggest country in the continent of Africa.
It's just a shame.
It's quite
just
unfortunate.
a shame. Then what are they doing in the house? What are they doing in the chamber? The writer on the Punch newspaper is, we chartered the plane from Ethiopia, Nigeria Air MD. Like you are borrowing a plane to show Nigerians that yes, this is your airplane for your services.
It's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate.
Nigeria is a dramatic chaos.
And according to the leadership, NNPC to discontinue crude swap, target cash payment for petroleum import. With the removal of subsidy on petroleum in the country, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, is set to discontinue crude oil swap in favor of cash payment for petrol import. To this effect, the company is winding down crude oil swap contract with traders and will pay cash for petroleum import as private companies could begin importing petrol as soon as this month ends. This means that NNPC is in the process of ending crude swap contract with traders instead of exchanging crude oil for refined petroleum product. The state oil company will now cash payment for petroleum import. And according to the writer, once again, NNPC to discontinue crude swap, target cash payment for petroleum import.
Bashir Ahmed, former special assistant on digital communications to former President Muhammadu Buhari, has land claims that Nigeria Air is a fraud. Insisting that the airline project is not a fraud, Ahmed said via his Twitter page Tuesday that all necessary documents required to power the airline have been signed by the Aviation Ministry and operational offices open. I do not want to drag on this because there are truth from this blatant lie from this man. I wonder what is the meaning of assistant on digital communications. Everything still boils to be on communication ministry.
Exactly.
And information ministry. So this is just another office again to loot and siphon Nigerian money. And he has come again to defend his principal. What do you expect? Where he's eating, where he's being paid, where he's getting his salary from. The MD of the Nigeria Air just confirmed and confessed that it is his own responsibility to achieve an operating license. And someone is coming here to speak who held a very significant position as claimed by the past administration, former special assistant on digital communications. Why are these guys not being truthful and honest and having that fear of God at the back of their mind? They just open their mouth and talk as if Nigeria remains a kindergarten class.
It's quite unfortunate. Mori, let's look at it from this perspective. If you could recall, there was a time when Nigerian had to rebrand the Nigerian airline. We first had Nigerian Airway. From Nigerian Airway, we metamorphosized into Virgin Nigeria. And I think when we were still with the brand Virgin Nigeria, there were a lot of reformation that took place. Maybe it's as a result of, Bratson that came from the United Kingdom, who owns Virgin Airline then. But if you look at it, in this situation, okay, the minister is trying to rebrand and bring us back a good carrier that will be for Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is, I believe that a lot of money would have been expended on this project. But why are they bringing in what does not belong to the kaya that does not belong to the country. They only have a shady deal and things like. But I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will need to investigate, to look into all this matter so that we can resolve it at once.
Absolutely. It is not expedient or something. So much money was squandered. Number one suspect to be arrested is President Muhammadu Buhari. The number two is Adi Sirika.
Exactly.
Because he's just a liar. How can you merge two international airports together without any reasonable reason?
Can you imagine?
There are lands available for every international airport in Nigeria to expand your fences, your operational what could really bring comfort and good serene environment than just bringing out this gibberish as excuses. I wonder what they take the country for. Poor Nigerians will vote for you in, or probably they will expect you to go and represent the country, to be a good ambassador. But when you get there, it changes. A critical and closest example is Festus Keyamo, an activist lawyer who turned out to become a politician after getting the appointment from the federal government. And he turned around to be speaking and acting against those people he was defending as defenseless. People you were giving hope, you made them realize there is no hope anywhere in Nigeria.
But another question is, the National Assembly has not really deemed it fit to take it as their responsibility, because I believe before the minister could go ahead to do anything, he needs to get the consent and the resolution of the House.
If you are going too far to National Assembly, what meaningful impacts did we got from them during the last administration? If not just all of these rubber stamped house.
You're right.
They are all criminals. If a lawmaker in Nigeria can be earning what a whole state should be having, it's just a shame. And all of this accumulation of wealth, all of this luxuries life, or luxurious life, all of this zeal for powers, all of this one thing, no one will be buried with it.
Exactly.
No matter what we do on studio presentation, we need to hit the truth out. It's written on the newspapers, but we need to bring it to the people watching and to realize what Nigeria is going through. Nigeria should be a state attracting investors, attracting billions to develop its economy. I'm having a rider from the World Bank as regards what the Nigeria economy is doing. It will be affected, it will get killed one day. Because the more we have these people taking our money, looting our money, the economy will just remain stagnant. Let's go to the next story from your side.
Okay, from this angle, I have Nigerian Tribune. Peter Obi faults Tinubu's subsidy remover. Give reason. Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the last election, has faulted the sudden announcement of fuel subsidy by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Obi said the announcement of subsidy removal without putting measures in place to cushion the hardship that comes with the action mounted to putting the cart before the ox. He made the submission on Tuesday during a chat with a section of the media at the Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja. There is a difference between removing your tooth by applying artificial, which will ameliorate your pain, than just putting it out. I believe it. Fuel subsidy should be removed with condition, and that condition must be applied. If I was involved, I would have shown empirical statistic data, how much we are going to save from it, where we are going to apply it, and gain for the people, he stated. And from the rider, Peter Obi faults Tinubu's subsidy remover. Give reasons.
This is a political faulting. It's a political faulting. You went into a competition and you were defeated.
You lost.
You lost woefully, and you're still crying. This is just fallacy. Let me remind him and those supporting him, and the Labour Party supporting him, and even the NLC president, that what's his name again, Joe Ajaero. During his presidential campaign, He said it. Peter Obi mentioned it. Peter Obi left PDP for LP party.
Exactly.
You met some people there, but because you have this affluence, influence, and connection to like bring on board your own people, and because you have this money, Nigerians understand money. When Nigerians are crying and they get paid, I tell you the tears is over. They forget easily. Peter Obi has forgotten, but let me remind him, I'm not against him. He mentioned it that if he eventually wins to be the president of the nation, definitely he's going to remove fuel subsidy. So how are we expecting him to remove his own, if not by pronouncement?
No, he's only telling us that he's going to put up some, palliative measures to cushion the effect.
When he was the governor of Anambra State, what were the things he did for people there? Now let's go straight to the next story from the Vanguard newspaper. Leaders of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and Trade Union Congress (TUC) yesterday gave insight into why they resolved to shelve their planned nationwide strike aimed at forcing the federal government to reverse the 200% hike in the pump price of petrol. Before I go further, the pronouncement of "I have removed fuel subsidy," does it state that 200% hike in the pump price of petrol is included?
No.
To leave the former price, Nigerians are buying petrol.
No.
Let me go further to the same story. Rising from an emergency, National Executive Council (NEC) meeting yesterday, the president of NLC, Mr. Joe Ajaero, and General Secretary Emma Ugwaja cited the mood of the nation in view of the outcome of the presidential election still being challenged at the tribunal, the need to pursue national stability, and the restraining order obtained by the federal government from the National Industrial Corp (NIC) as reasons for the decision to shelve the planned industrial action. Before I ask you my question, let me just buttress something. I saw a video of an interview from one of these TVs in Lagos State. The man was being interviewed and he was asked about what if the nationwide strike eventually comes to reality.
Okay.
He said boldly the strike wouldn't come up. And he was asked what are his reasons. He said NLC are insincere. Yes, they are insincere. Nigerians are tired of NLC. Nigerians are tired of this strike. We hear these actions, we're going on strike. When they come to an end on the roundtable talk, when hands have exchanged hands, do we hear anything again?
No.
What has been the fruition of any of this strike by NLC since inception that has favored a single or an average Nigerian? Then my question to you, what do you see about Joe Ajaero crying that yes, because I'll say he's crying because he's saying categorically that these are the reasons why they shelved the planned nationwide strike aimed at forcing the federal government to reverse the 200% hike in the pump price of petrol. This nationwide strike, was the federal government the one that increased the pump price of petrol or the oil marketers?
Well, if you look at it, you come to realize that the government is continuity, so like we used to know. But the truth of the matter is the past government, the government that left
President Muhammadu Buhari,
has done a lot of damage.
Damages.
But I think that Labour Congress should have, given this recent this new administration, they should have given them some time, you understand, to kick start before all this issue will come up. Because if you look at it, for the fact that Tinubu made a speech, he said something about the fuel subsidy when he was delivering his keynote at the inauguration, does not mean that he has been the one that has come to put more pressure on Nigerians and things like that. Because before this administration can say, okay, these are the agenda we want to execute, they need to take some time to assess what is on ground, to know where the past government left the bad thing before they can say, okay, these are the things we are going to do. And if you look at it like yesterday, we come to, according to the report, we heard that 2 days ago, the federal government had to hold a meeting with both the NLC and the TUC. But the truth of the matter is, the government is above every other ministry. So the government should be the one that should curtail the marketers. The marketers are independent. But the truth of the matter is, government should set up a machinery that will regulate the activities of the marketers.
Definitely.
That is it.
And to the next story on Vanguard, the World Bank yesterday warned that Nigeria's economic growth is too slow to address the challenge of extreme poverty in the country. Meanwhile, the bank has retained its economic growth, gross domestic product, GDP, forecast of 2.8% for Nigeria in 2023, citing challenges of high inflation, foreign exchange shortages, and shortages of banknotes caused by currency redesign. Number one, I love this so much. Where we have the governors eating money, just like they lied that the snake swallowed trillions of naira. Another one, the monkey swallowed trillions of naira. Another one, some ex-governors who siphoned some public money meant for good projects for their respective states. Some governors from the north who sold out the security architecture from the northern part of the country to banditry and insurgency. They dine and wine with them. A governor stated that yesterday. Exactly. Then the next one, the mind of stealing from our leaders are the causes of Nigeria's economic growth that is too slow to address the challenge of extreme poverty in the country. Another one again from the southwest. From the FG, they disbursed a total of a figure of money, which I do not have the exact figure right now, that it is an FG program, like a poverty alleviation program. And each state removed the federal government's name to their own state's name and even dashed off the exact portion of the money expected to be given to respected average Nigerians who are seeking or meant to have this palliative. And you expect the World Bank not to come out to say all of these things. It is just a shame. For how long are we going to continue reading out informations affecting us, killing us, bringing insecurity to our lives and property of our brothers and sisters, and the government still fold their arms and doing nothing? Then let me borrow what you just said. There should be a regulation on the independent marketers, oil marketers. There should be a regulation after the pronouncement of you removing fuel subsidy. Definitely, the NNPC should have this machinery to go after the independent oil marketers who have all of these big fuel stations cut across Nigeria, and check whoever is selling above the fixed price, because everything subsidy or everything to be subsidized definitely should bring succor to Nigerians.
Exactly. And just to add to what you said, if you look at it, the more Nigerians borrow money from the International Bank or the World Bank, and we don't utilize the money for the right purpose, the more deficit we have in terms of our budgets. Because you discover that during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo, we have to pay some debt to the International Monetary Fund. Now, before Buhari left power, Nigeria has borrowed a huge amount of money, of which the purpose for the money borrowed have not been visible. Nigerians have not really felt the positive impact of those money. So automatically, they are putting the country more into debt. And as a result of that, you discover that the growth of the economy will be in shambles if care is not taken. And that is why I want to enjoin this newly elected president to make sure that at least he puts the right peg in the right hole. He needs to, get the technocrats that will be able to drive the economy of the country to take us back to the right place.
I have one believer as regards Tinubu's administration, which we are just having, and my belief is that if he was to be a member of the cabals that doesn't want a fresh air, breath in Nigeria, definitely we would have been seeing something similar to that of Buhari. Buhari was people's choice, not God's choice. And now, Tinubu came and emerges as a president because many Nigerians never wanted him. And God's mandate will surely come ahead of man's mandate.
Exactly.
So I have this hope that if given the privilege, the atmosphere to operate, we have the closest record when he was the governor of Lagos State.
Lagos State.
The months, the years, He wasn't given any support from the federal government, and Lagos State remains the commercial selling hub, not just a hub, not just a commercial hub, a commercial moving and selling hub that gets attractions from international and within Africa.
Exactly.
And everything was going on fine. If a man could rule as a governor of Lagos State, and there was this calmness, there was this development all around the state, except some few lapses, which is normal because we're all human beings.
Exactly. Let's go through the Nation newspaper. I have this headline: Tinubu in crucial talks over Senate President Speaker. With strike threat by Labour as an aftermath of petrol subsidy removal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has turned his attention to a smooth takeoff of the 10th National Assembly. He is expected to issue a proclamation giving effect to the commencement of a new legislative cycle next week. President Tinubu will hold talks with All Progressive Congress (APC) governors and members of the National Working Committee today on the preparation for the election of presiding officers, which is the first activities after the inauguration. Tomorrow, the president will meet with APC National Assembly member-elect. Now, looking at this, they are about to come up with the 10th National Assembly Committee, the members. If you look at the activities of the past, the 9th Senate, do we really, assessing them, have they really made any positive impact to the life of Nigerians? Because
no.
They have not really made any impact to the life of Nigerians. Now, I think Tinubu wants to be very careful with this incoming National Assembly. The principal officer will go a long way. Their policies and decisions and their mutual cooperation with the presidency will go a long way to rub off on the people in the country. But what is your own take on it?
I still want to urge the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to maintain a very rigid policy that will work, not just pronouncements. Action is needed. Then actualization of these policies to making sure that Nigerians are enjoying why many of us, many of them, and many of all meaningful Nigerians voted for Tinubu. We are not voting for just party, but sometimes personality matters. And I want to take the president to note that this incoming 10th assembly should be a total different one, should give a total different perception to the eyes, the nose of Nigerians that are watching, because millions of Nigerians are hoping and expecting a good change and a good turnaround from them. That's my own submission.
Do we have any other?
Yes, I'm going to the Punch Sports, which is coming. Villarreal forward Samuel Chukwueze has expressed delight after winning the African MVP award for the just concluded 2022-2023 La Liga season. Over 30,000 fans from all across the continent and 26 African football journalists voted for the La Liga African Best Player. The Super Eagles winger had a fantastic season with the Yellow Submarine, scoring 13 goals and providing 11 assists in all competitions and playing in 37 of the 38 La Liga matches, as his brilliant performances propelled Villarreal to a spot in European competition next season. The Nigeria international thanked Villarreal manager Kwiki Setien and teammates for their support. When you are good at your duties, at your job, you get celebrated. That's our last shot from today's newspaper headlines today from BGI TV Current. We hope to bring you another interesting package tomorrow. And from my side here, I'm saying you should always join us on our YouTube channel with BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts day in, day out. And on Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. And for your advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and function, I'd like to remind you that it is your own business that needs our medium to get out to every places where you get proficient and good clients to come buy from you. My name remains Morire Rabila Lawal.
ITV Currents. Join us again tomorrow, and my name remains Igi Olalikon. Bye for now and have a lovely day.